A big week ahead, and it's the start of the major part of the season here at the Winter Equestrian Festival. Five-star week this week with the Fidelity Investments massive Grand Prix, and of course that means massive jumping throughout the whole of the next few days. Tomorrow coming up with the Adequate WEF Challenge Cup, it means the serious big guns are in town. We've got some great horses, some fantastic riders, all coming up for you, so we're going to preview it here today on WEF Weekly. Welcome to this week's WEF Weekly, and coming to you from the Winter Equestrian Festival. Week 5 of competition, and that means the start of the five-star weeks as well. Some massive weeks coming up. Fidelity Investments are kind sponsors of the first of the five-star Grand Prix, and helping clients grow, preserve and manage their wealth. You can learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. And also, of course, throughout the weeks we bring you streaming and all of the back news as well from the various big events here at the Winter Equestrian Festival, including Dodd Technologies behind that as well, with a great new partner here at the Winter Equestrian Festival throughout, and also teaming up with US Equestrian and the USEF network, where we bring you the big competitions and of course WEF Weekly each week here at the Winter Equestrian Festival as well. So many ways to watch, so many ways to enjoy, and lots to enjoy this week. And joining me are my guests to discuss this big week of competition here in Wellington. As I say, start of a big run, five-star this week, and then from here on in, it is going to be a long run of five-star competitions, Nations Cup, all culminating, of course, onto week 12 with that Rolex Grand Prix as well. And three that will feature very much in that, I'm delighted to say, are Ireland's Cian O'Connor. Cian, great to have you back.
Thanks, Stephen. Happy to be here.
Looking forward to getting through to your fantastic list of horses this season.
Oh yeah, it's going well so far. It's early days, but the circuit's going well. It's as you said, the first five-star week, so I think we're all pretty excited and looking forward to it.
Chloe, great to see you back. Chloe Reid, of course, US team rider. You featured well in the Grand Prix last season here as well. You've been a top 3 in the Rolex Grand Prix before now. You've been having a little preview behind us. They're building currently for the WEF Challenge Cup tomorrow. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being here and competing on Fidelity Weekend. It's always a highlight for all of us riders, so very fortunate to be here and be here with you today.
And Rene Dittmer, great to have you here. Over from Germany, but of course the association with Chloe Reid, the two of you together. Yeah. You're over here a lot now, which is great to see. You had a fantastic fall season, winning, what, 3 classes at Washington?
I think it was 2. But yeah, I had a really good weekend there, and then second in the World Cup. So yeah, that was definitely one of the best weeks.
And won the Grand Prix here in December.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope we can keep going like that.
Ticking along very nicely. We're looking forward to getting into that and into Corsica, which is the horse you're going to be riding as well. Cian, we're going to take a little look at last week as well, just to wrap things up for the Mars Equestrian Grand Prix. Back out on the field. Very different setting there. It was an Irish win. In fact, it was 2 Irish riders in the top 3, which was super to see for you guys. Mimi Gotchman in there as well for our top 3, but Paul O'Shea finishing top there as well. Super win for Paul there with Emerald.
Yeah, it was a fantastic win for Paul. He works very hard. He's been based here now in the States for a long time, and that's a great horse he has in Emerald. It's a partner that he knows very well, and there's something special about the grass. We all love competing up there. I think the horses enjoy it as well, and it was a nice Grand Prix. It was difficult enough. It was a scopy course, so difficult for young horses, and the horses with experience jumped it very well. It was nice for them. There was only 3 clears, so they all had a podium.
I was going to say, just the 3 clears in there, it was tough going.
Yeah, it was tough. We were happy to see the Irish on top. It was a fantastic win for him.
Super result for both Mimi Gotchman and for David O'Brien in there as well, and the result of some good work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you walk the courses nowadays, there's not so much difference sometimes we think here, particularly in Wellington, between the 4 and the 5 stars. Maybe the difference is what horses are entered in them, because a lot of the horses will be minded now for this week. You didn't have a lot of 5-star horses last week, so it was clever of those guys. They placed their horses well by entering that competition, and those experienced horses came out on top.
A little look at David O'Brien's round here with El Baloo, and again he's built a super partnership with this, and he's again been progressing over the last few weeks with this to this point.
Yeah, David's a good rider. Would have seen him a lot in Ireland. Very natural, he's a quiet guy with a lot of feeling. This is a horse that I believe he's been producing over the last couple of years, and he's done very well.
Mimi Gotchman there as well into the field with Selena BH, now becoming established as a US team rider, still in her teens and doing fantastically.
Yeah, Mimi's very successful. There's also an Irish connection there. She works now with Derek Kenny, and she did a really good job also. And here you see Paul heading down. He took a stride out from 1 to 2 on that first line. He's neat over to this Oxer, and then it was an unusual right turn to the double, and this double caused a lot of trouble, particularly in the first round. But you see him here, he really squares up well, gets a great stride, nice and straight, and balances out, and then he's just got 2 fences left, second last, and he heads over, squares off, and he put the pressure on, and he jumped a super clear.
Well, good stuff, Paul O'Shea. Great to see him at the top of the line. We saw him, of course, previous winner of the likes of the 150 series, which you currently lead at the moment as well. So we're keeping the Irish flavour going.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. I mean, when you come here for the 12 weeks, you got to space your horse as well. And if you have enough horses to jump, it's nice to have different horses for different divisions. So thankfully, I have a couple of horses to ride in the Meter 50 as well.
You've got a big string, which we'll come into in a few minutes' time for you here, Cian, as well. Chloe, back in here. It's a good, happy hunting ground here for you in Wellington. Let's talk about this week and a little bit of reflection of last year as well. Crossover 4. Tell us about Crossy.
I've had crossover a few years now. He just turned 11. Rene actually rode the horse as a 5 and beginning a 6-year-old year, and I took over, started just helping him at home with flatting him a bit, and quickly realized that I liked this one. He was special. And so it's really nice that we've had the horse a long time, and it's nice that I can communicate with Rene and share stories, and he has the experience showing him also, so it gives me someone to talk about.
Little look here from Traverse City, because you were top 5 into the American Gold Cup last year with this one.
Yeah, we went up north at the end of the summer, and I did 3 5-stars with Crossover, which were his first 5 stars, and we were clear. I time faults in the first one, but we were placed in all 3 of them. So I was really proud of that development, and it was really that next step that I was happy to see him do.
And for you, I mean, we're seeing you here in the stadium here. You're pretty happy in this one?
Yeah, so I used the National Grand Prix a few weeks ago just as a nice warm-up for him. He hadn't shown in a few weeks, and just to get him, he's been really good and consistent under the lights up in Ocala, but you never know. It's a different arena here. They can get surprised, so just to have a nice, easy 145 round, and I was really happy at how he likes it here, so it's good.
And we mentioned the field there. It was back a couple of years ago out on the field when we were jumping the Rolex Grand Prix there. You were top 3 there as well.
I was. That was a really exciting day for me with my mare Super Shuttle, and a little bit unexpected, but I remember I walked the course that day, and I called Rene after, and he said, "What do you think?" And I was like, "I got this." Like, it's my kind of day. It's my course. So I think it's always a good feeling when you can walk a course and you know it suits you well.
Cian, do you get those days a lot, or how does it feel? Those days being
sometimes. I think different courses suit, and all of us riders, I think we ride on. It's a mental game as well, and if you're on a good roll, it tends to follow. You see some of the people who are having a lot of success. You know, every class they go in, they seem to press the right buttons at the right time, and equally if you get into a rut where things aren't going well, it's hard to get out of that. So it's all built on confidence.
And you look at someone like Richard Vogel that's here at the moment. I mean, he's won in that category right now.
Absolutely, he's a very hard man to beat against the clock. He really believes in himself. I mean, if he sees everybody doing 9 strides on a line and they're going flat out, he doesn't think it's 9. He thinks he can get 8.
Yeah.
And he has that inner belief, and he gives that to his horses. And yeah, he's a very special rider. Really a gifted guy, and special for everyone to watch.
It's been a good lineup of classes so far. Rene, welcome. You've, of course, as mentioned earlier, won the big Grand Prix here back in December as well, and you headed into the whole of that fall season. You had top 5 finishes in the World Cups and the likes of Toronto as well. What's it been like being across this side of the Atlantic a little bit more?
Yeah, I definitely don't regret it. It was like it could not have gone better for me, I have to say. I never expected that it's going to go so well. I was hoping to get some good placings here. Yeah. But like I said, I didn't expect it to go so well, but the horses really liked the shows here, and yeah, we had a good roll, and yeah, to finish it off here in Wellington with a win was yeah, super good.
And how's that set you up for being back here now?
Definitely very well. First, the plan was to take the horses home after Toronto, and then I thought, oh, maybe I do the one show here in Wellington, and then after I won that, I thought maybe I should stay. And now they had like a nice break for about 2 months. Yeah, now I showed Corsica last week in 2 national classes.
Well, here's a little look at Corsica in December here as well when you're winning the Grand Prix there. Tell us a little bit about Corsica.
I got her about I think 1.5 years ago. She's super careful, very smart horse. She can have a bit of her own character, but she always wants to do her best. And yeah, I think she's really shown, especially in the past half year, like what quality she has.
And talking about confidence, I mean, we've got some shots there from Washington as well. You were finishing with wins there. You were second in the World Cup there as well. How much, as Cian said, does that confidence make the difference to you right now?
Definitely helps a lot. What Cian just said, when you once have a couple of good weeks and you're on a roll, like that's especially like what I could feel like in those World Cup weeks there. Like I went from one to the other show and I had like good rounds one after each other, and you definitely ride different than when you feel like, yeah, you can do it, and your horse is in good form, and yeah.
You're confident for this week.
Yeah.
What's been the preparation up to this point for this 5-star week?
Yeah, Corsica, she had a break for like about 2 months now, and I showed her last week in 2 national classes, one 135 and a 145. And I have to say, she feels really, really good, nice and fresh, and yeah, we're going straight into the qualifier tomorrow, and her owner Mark Minnis is coming, so I hope we'll do well.
A little bit of pressure. Cian, you know all about pressure. Let's talk about this week. Fidelity Investments 5-star week, but it's not just that. Anakin WEF Challenge Cup tomorrow.
Sure.
X amount going through there, etc. Top 30 from there, from that class, and then Friday's class as well. Reverse order now for the order for the Grand Prix too. The classes during the week have that influence as well, and tomorrow's class over 100,000 too. It's a big week that really has kicked off now.
Yeah, I think the qualifier is like the prelude to the big Saturday night event, and everybody want to be trying their best. I had a quick look at the horses that were in it. I mean, horses like Major Tom with Rodrigo, James Cancruz is jumping in it. So you have some very good horses that we're all up against, and we'll be trying to take them on. It's a new system, as you say, with the qualification over the 2 days, but if you jump a good round tomorrow for 1 down or less, then you're in probably. And yeah, it's a good competition in itself. It's nice if you have the 2 horses. In my case, I'm going to jump Kilkenny tomorrow, and then I have another horse, Morris, who I jumped a few weeks ago, and he just popped around today, so hopefully I could keep him fresh then for the Grand Prix.
And that's going to be the strategy for a couple, I think, in there. I think talking to Richie Fogel as well, he's got United Touch this week and Sapanu Balabay,
Okay.
so you have those options to go
Yeah,
to.
because the class tomorrow takes enough out. If you go against the clock and you use the horse 2 rounds, okay, you still have 2 days between that and the Grand Prix. But if you have the second horse, it's a good advantage, I think.
Looking through, yeah, I mean, you mentioned some of these. We've got world number 2, Ben Mayer. We've got world number 4, Kent Farrington. Richard Vogel at currently number 11. McLean Ward number 8. Shane Sweetnam, James Cancruz number 12. It's strong if we're looking purely on paper at numbers, but actually that doesn't matter, because actually the strength of the riders and horses in here is top notch.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about the combinations. The ranking is one thing, but it depends what horses people are using. And I think tomorrow is going to be the first big qualifier that we've seen. The course builder is Gregory Bodo from France, who's building the Olympic Games this summer in Paris. So it's nice also for the riders to see a little bit his style. And sometimes we like to think that maybe the course builder who's building a championship that year might be trying out some lines and some various colours or distances or different intricacies on the course. So we're trying to see, can we learn anything from that as well.
Chloe, how are you feeling about this week? What's your plan?
Yeah, this is, again, a crossover hasn't done many 5-stars. I've been fortunate to have a couple horses over the years to get myself in the ring in these 5-stars here in Wellington. So I'm hoping I can just give him a nice solid ride and give him the confidence, and I know he has all the heart and the ability, so everything lines up. It hopefully is a good day for us.
You've been quietly just having a little look over the shoulder here of the courses for tomorrow. What do you feel about it? You've had a little look over there. You're not going to see much of it because it's still building for a few other classes.
Yeah, there's still 2 more classes tomorrow morning, but you can see the triple combination set over there by the VIP. So I think, like Cian said, it's definitely going to be a big enough course, and there's enough good horses and riders. So.
And in terms of looking across the riders, you've seen the build-up now that we've been through to get to this stage. You know, we've been through those weeks, the 3 stars and the 4 stars. Who stood out for you?
Yeah, I think like Cian said, you're this week going to see a couple of the really good horses coming out for the first time. Maybe they've done a couple national classes and kind of been slowly getting ready, but this is really the first week where big guns are showing up and putting everything they have on the table, so I think it's going to be exciting.
Rene, are you the secret weapon this week?
I hope so. I hope so.
You come in here, you started to make a bit of a name on the American side, having done well in the fall, but again, of that list, you'd be a little bit lesser known in terms of those riders. Does that help you a little bit?
I mean, hopefully. Yeah, I have to say now with how the horse jumped the past half year, I'm going confident in the round tomorrow, and yeah, I'll hope. Yeah, we'll do our best and hope it's going to go well.
And we've got a few of the German riders in there, but for you, who are you looking at this week? Aside from yourself, of course.
I mean, for sure, we just had Richard Vogel, for sure. I think he has good chances with his two top horses, Stepano for the qualifier and then the United in the Grand Prix. So yeah, I hope for a German win.
Going for that. Cian, for you as well, it's a big season. We're going to come on to your horses in a few moments' time. It's a big season for you as well. The Watchman brothers and sister competing here with Tom, Max and Alice, of course, under your tutelage. How's that been going?
Yeah, it's good. It's busy. Unfortunately, Max got an injury just before circuit and he broke his leg, but he's back in action now. He actually rode today for the first time, which is great. And I've been keeping some of the horses ticking over. Tom is doing the U25s and some of the other Grand Prix as well. So building up, and Alice is there as well doing the high juniors. So it's a lot of organisation, a big group of people, and we've got a great bunch of staff at Carlswood, and I think having a good team makes my job certainly easier anyway.
Well, that brings me on nicely because I can see some of the horses that you've got here this season. Morris is one of them. You've got Fermoy this week and Kilkenny, but you've also got Highland President. You've got a number of options at the moment, and you've smartly put this string together. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think I suppose I made a conscious decision that I don't want to be half in or half out, to be honest, and my business has taken off very well the last number of years, both in terms of coaching and trading in horses. But obviously for me, there's no real secret. The Olympic Games is where I want to be and where it's at. And I decided last year, I said, if I want to do this properly, I need to get myself better organised. And I'm lucky, I think I've put together a few nice animals. I have Nikki Walker, who I've worked with for a long time. I ride a very good mare for her called Eve. And then obviously Highland President and Morris and Clown are all from a new owner called Pat Crean. And then obviously the horses that I have, some of them in partnership with the Watchmans and Magners. So yeah, it's a great group, and it's just a question of planning it out well and strategically picking what horses for what classes. And so far they've all jumped well, but as Chloe said, like up until now it's just been getting going. The real business starts this week, so we'll see how we go.
A few shots of Kilkenny there, which is the horse you rode, 7th at the Olympics in Tokyo?
Yeah, he's a special horse. He's Max's horse, and he's gone really well for Max. He was double clear in Brussels in the 5-Star Nations Cup last August, and so it's nice just to do a few classes on him. I'm not doing any Grand Prix with him. I'm just keeping him ticking over, and I get a chance to jump in the WEF tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to.
Okay, I am going to put you on the spot. Which do you see as the one coming out of the pack, or do you see them pretty well level at the moment? It's really seeing how things go in the next few weeks.
I'm not sure. I suppose you have to see which horses that I click with. Fermoy, it used to be called Chaco's Light's a very good horse. It's 10 years old. It was ridden to a very high level well by Maurice Tebble, also in the Nations Cup in Brussels. Him I like a lot, and I'm really taking my time with him. I'm going to do the 150s this week and take him to Ocala next week, and then maybe step him up in the latter half of the circuit. Highland President is obviously very experienced from Trevor Breen, and Morris has gone well. He was 3rd in the WEF a few weeks ago, and he was 4th in the NetJets, or 5th in the NetJets Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago, and he'll jump the Grand Prix this Saturday. So yeah, it's a good group, but you need options, you need choices, because with horses things normally don't go according to plan, unfortunately.
How much do you think we should be looking at the form of that NetJets Grand Prix to try and work it this week out a little bit?
I think it was a decent Grand Prix. Again, there's not so much disparity between the heights, but when all the big guns enter, you get a different rhythm to the class in terms of the time allowed or the width of the fences. They're the kind of smaller margins that might make a big difference this weekend. Do you feel it gets a different feel in this place when the 5-star weeks roll in? Yeah, I think so. I think the Saturday night class generally is fantastic here. It's a great vibe, and it's the one class of the week where you really feel that you're at a special event. And I wanted to jump Morris in that Grand Prix a few weeks ago just to give him a taste of it. Yeah. Both the atmosphere and the whole thing, and so hopefully he's able to jump that bit bigger this weekend. Well, we'll find out. I'm sure he will. I'm sure it'll be great from that point of view. So that's what's coming together for your horses. Let's take a little look as well
at the U25 series and how that's been playing out at the moment as well, because that's been team competition last week. So Hallie Grimes is at the top of that. Frances Derwent, we're talking the Irish, are in second at the moment. Maggie Jacobs after that. Ansgar Hodges Jr. sitting in fourth place. Nina Malavé of France having a very good run in both the U25s and the senior ranks, as we've seen into the Grand Prix so far. Tom Watchman there into seventh place at the moment. Grace Debney of Great Britain in eighth, and that's our top 10 as it stands in that Brain Juice U25 series at the moment. And we'll also reflect on the MA's 150 series as well, because that progresses each week and again ramps up as part of the 5-star week. Oh look, Cian O'Connor is at the top there on 166. Jad Dana is the closest to him at the moment. In second, Molly Ash Corley in third, Shane Sweetenham in fourth, McLean Ward top 5, looking a very strong group through there. Emil Miller in top 6 and Natalie Dean 7th. From that point of view, again, a good series to really bring the horses out and develop the horses in when you're looking at these Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think the person that's most happy about that leaderboard is my little boy Ben. He's 10, and he comes in every week. He's doing the itty-bitty classes on the weekend, and he's really excited about that leaderboard. So kind of makes me enter a good horse in the 150 every Sunday.
He walks in and sees Dad's name at the top of the leaderboard.
Keeps him happy.
Well, you two have had your names at the top of the leaderboard plenty of times. Slightly different twist though. What is it like being a couple competing on the circuit? Chloe first.
Definitely makes it more exciting. I think we're both very competitive individuals, so it kind of keeps things interesting. We actually haven't competed against each other in quite a while now, so this weekend's going to be the first time, so I'm looking forward to having them both at the side of the ring and helping me walk the course, but also to, when I come out and you have one down, you want to go faster to beat him. So.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous, but what Chloe just said, that's true. Like, if, let's say I have one down, at least I want to be faster. Then, we always try to be better than the other.
Do you find you feed off each other?
100%. I think he makes me definitely a more competitive person. He makes me work harder, and I think I feed off of his hard work and energy. So I know, speaking for myself, it makes me a better competitor.
I'm giving you the chance here.
I can just say the same. I think the two of us, when we're together, in the stable, also at the shows, it definitely makes us both better and more competitive.
And in terms of behind the scenes, how does it all work? You're obviously in the same stables, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to have him here. I actually was joking earlier. He walked by me in the VIP, and I'm like, I'm not used to seeing you here. But it is nice to be on the same side of the world for a little bit of a change, and to have him here supporting me. And like I said, just have someone when you come out of the ring and someone you can talk to about your round, and especially someone who knows my horses really well is really helpful.
Does it help you a lot?
Definitely,
for
yeah.
exactly that reason.
Definitely, it helps me a lot. And it was especially now the last year we weren't so much at the same shows together. So now, it really is so nice to be together at the shows again, and yeah, feels really good.
Do you agree when walking the course though?
No. But today, the one line into the double, I was like, it's a forward 6 for me. He's like, it's 5. I'm like, okay, we need to rewalk
I didn't see that. I said that to Richie Fogel, he might do 5, and he actually did.
For me, it was a forward 6, but
but it works.
Yeah. I appreciate his advice, but I also am a little bit stubborn in my own ways and still know the way that I like to ride.
Excellent. Cian, for you, you've got the kids competing now.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Does that go the same way?
No, their mum Ruth does a great job. She's responsible and can take all the credit for the work that goes into it. So Ben and Cara. Cara's 7 and Ben's 10, so they're really enjoying it. They have a pony here each. And this new division started last year called Itty Bitty Jumpers. So it's very small, very safe, and they have plenty of fun, and it's good. It's small in fences, but it's big in number. It's becoming the second biggest class of the week. It's become the numbers are getting big. The entries are getting big. It's competitive. But even for them, just at their age, to go and learn the course, to warm up with the practice, to understand what it's all about, and it's great to have them here. It's great to have them enjoying it. And like I say, that is the one thing that is different here. There are very few shows. There are other shows, but there are very few shows like that where you can go along, the kids can go along, and actually you can all be part of that in one thing. Yeah, I suppose you never know. When you have kids, you don't know if they're going to go into this industry or whether we want them to go into it. But I always say it's important that they understand what all the madness is about, and that they get this circus. Whether they do it or not is another thing, but at least that they see when we're travelling so much and going to shows for what and why we're doing it, and that the horses take time to develop, and you have ups and downs, horses can get injured. So I think it's a good life lesson for kids. Chloe, how young were you when you started?
I was 4, and I think my mom would say the exact same thing, that she would drive me an hour back and forth to the barn every single day, and a lot of people told her she was crazy for doing that, but I think those are hours in the car that a lot of people don't get with their kids, and it's a lot of weekends where you're sitting at a horse show and you have to be up the next morning super bright and early to get to the ring, so I'd say the same. I think it's a really great opportunity for families.
Rene?
I started when I was 6 years old.
You were later.
Later, yeah. And
A little
actually
older than
a
me
little
though,
bit crazy little pony stallion who threw me off a lot. My parents were worried a bit if I'm going to keep going with the sport, but yeah, here I am.
Here you are. You're doing just fine from that point of view. You mentioned it a little bit earlier on, Cian, as well, that we have Gregory Bordeaux building here, the Olympic course designer. He's going to be teaming up with Santi Varela for Paris 2024. This is great to have him here this week, but this is also a part of that road now, isn't it, towards that?
Yeah, you'd imagine that course builder like Gregory, there's not that many opportunities to build 5-star between now and August, so this will be one of them, and they must be looking at things and trying to, any course builder that wants to build at a major championship and Olympic Games is going to be trying different things. They want to try different lines, and I think it will be interesting to see for sure the two classes, one tomorrow and the Grand Prix on Saturday. It'll be interesting to look at those lines and just see is there anything a bit different.
And for the build-up in terms of horses, how influential and how important is it to get off to a good start right now?
I suppose each horse is an individual, and it depends what stage you're at. If you know your horse already and he's 11 or 12 and you're coming from a successful season, well then you want to just get going and have them fit and healthy and sound and keep them ticking over. And if you have a younger horse, you need to kind of push on and do enough but not do too much. So I suppose, like always, we try to treat the horses as individuals and see what they all need independently, really.
Chloe, from your point of view, you've been on teams before for the US. How much is this right now, this week, part of your plan for the year?
I think for especially the US teams going into the summer, they're looking at these weeks in Wellington especially, and speaking from previous years with Super Shuttle, I had a really good season, was consistent all year, and it got me on the short list for the World Championship. So you try not to think of it too much, but I mean, having pressure is a privilege, so it's always good to have in your back pocket.
I like that one. Rene, from your point of view this season?
Yeah, and for me it's also like the first big test of the year, and I'm looking a little bit towards the Nations Cup in Ocala, so I hope she's going to jump well in the 5-star here and maybe one other 5-star in Wellington, and then hopefully I'll make it onto the team in Ocala.
Should have a strong team for Germany up there.
I hope so.
For you, it is into a big week. A little reminiscence of last year's Fidelity Grand Prix as well, which was won by one McLean Ward and Callas. From that point of view, we're going to take a little look at that round as well as remind ourselves what it was like on that event from that point of view. Cian, it was a massive night. Frank Rothenberger was our course designer that week, and again, it took some pretty special jumping.
Yeah, I remember it well, and when McLean's on song, there's nobody better. Look at this roll back here to the Oxer, positive and accurate, forward all the way, and he's probably not just having the same run of form that he'd normally have, and knowing McLean, he'll analyse that and he'll want to perfect that, and he's building also a team of horses. He has a new horse called Elex that he just got recently, and I'm sure we'll see him in the major classes over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Elex is a horse that we saw in the likes of the Nations Cup here last year, going fantastically. He's got several horses to get. A little like you, he's got some options here this year.
Yeah, sometimes though, when you have a group of horses and if some of them are younger, you're not ready to go to war, you're not ready to put the gun to them, so you're kind of schooling or sometimes one down and just going bit by bit, and you have to have that patience and allow those rounds happen. It's difficult because when you have a group of older horses, you can actually compete, and that's the difference between producing and competing or developing horses. Sometimes you have to just take your beating for a moment and say, okay, I gotta sit quiet, and if the horse is jumping well but having a fence, or I'm not just fast enough yet, it's okay, the time will come. You can't really push them when they're not ready.
And for you, Rene, a little bit different. You've got the one up there with Corsica. You've almost got to plan exactly what you're doing.
Exactly. She felt really good last week, and so that's why I put her straight into the qualifier to save as many jumps as I can, like not do too much with her, save her for the big weeks. We're starting with this week here, and we'll all last time under the lights she jumped really well here, so I have a good feeling about it, and that she can go straight into this, and
Let's put you all on the spot. We don't know quite who's going to be into the Grand Prix yet. We'll do our Grand Prix preview show as well on Saturday, so you're not too committed here. Chloe, who do you think will jump a big round here? I'm not saying will necessarily be the winner, but who do you think might?
Do the three of us or everyone?
Well,
in the world?
aside from three of you, can pick the three of you. But in terms of looking ahead to this week.
Yeah, I think like you guys said, Richard Vogel's a really good bet, especially like he was saying when you have two horses and you can kind of pick and choose and place them in the classes. I think that always helps. McLean's been doing really well. Laura's been doing well. I think as an American, I love to see an American victory on Fidelity Week. But yeah, I think everyone, but looking at the start list tomorrow, I think everyone has a really good chance, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty level from that point of view. Cian, from your side of things?
Yeah, it's hard to know. Kent has been going well. He's a nice group of horses.
Yeah.
He'll have Greya probably in the Grand Prix this week, so he'll be looking to go well. You can never rule them out, but yeah, I'm quietly confident. I'm looking forward to the week.
Good. Rene?
I put my bet in already with Richie. Otherwise, I hope my
He's in love with Richie Vogel. I don't know about this.
Put my I would say Mario Delorier. I hope he's going to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice solid rounds from there. Also this week, before we go too far into jumping as well, before we finish off, a reminder, we have a new competition this week for hunters that's taking place on Friday night as well. It's a team competition, 3 members of a team for that, going to be something a little bit different, so you can tune in for that on Friday evening as well. So that's going to be a new addition there. We've already got the judging towers out there and in position. So not only week 6, which of course next week is Hunter Week, but this week we have a new big competition, $100,000 class there for the teams as well. Amateurs teaming up with the pros as well, which is going to be really interesting to see. So looking forward to that. That's going to be Friday evening, and of course we're Wednesday right now as well. Just to wrap things up, let's go and delve a little bit further into your careers. Let's start with Chloe from that point of view. Chloe, to get to this stage, we talked about that. We mentioned there the links with family and how you started. Who's influenced you most in your career?
I'd definitely say my family has had the largest input in my career, between my uncle and my grandmother both having not show jumping backgrounds but equestrian backgrounds. And
throw some detail on that, because there's quite a bit to that.
Chester Weber is the 20-time U.S. national combined driving champion, and my grandmother has had a very successful thoroughbred racing operation based out of Ocala, Florida for many years now. So while my parents themselves are not horsey, I have a very horsey background supporting me from behind. And I think I would also give Marcus and Meredith Beerbaum a lot of credit also for my career. I was trained with them for many years, and it's where Rene and I met, and I think they had a very large input in my riding style.
So it's their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
Rene, from your point of view, give us a little bit of background into Rene Dittmer for those that are not so familiar with you.
I would also definitely say my parents, because I grew up on a small farm at home. I grew up with horses, and they put me on my first pony, and then my dad taught me everything basically up to jump 150 classes, and then I luckily got the opportunity to work for Marcus and Meredith, and that really brought me up into the international sport. And then 3 years I think I was there, and then I started my own business, and I never expected it to go like this, especially like sport wise. I first thought I'm gonna bring up young horses and trade a bit, and that was usually the plan, and then somehow I got a couple of good horses, like one from Chloe, and Corsica I got 1.5 years ago, and so I really made it back to international shows, and I would definitely say that the Beerbaums made a very big impact, but I also have to say now the past half year that I've been in America, I was always with Mario Delorier now, and I really learned a lot from him now again, and it's always good to learn new things, and
An interesting combination of styles, because Marcus Beerbaum coming from the German riding background, Meredith who's ridden in both the US and in Germany, and then Mario who's mainly been over here.
Yeah, exactly. And he was also a lot in Germany back then, so it's definitely an interesting combination.
Give me one thing you've pulled out of that's different in terms of riding tips or riding ability that you've got a little tip out.
You mean from Mario, or
from Mario compared to, say?
From Mario, I would say I maybe sometimes with my upper body, I mean, I'm quite a tall guy, and it was maybe a little bit too much forward, and like the horses get a bit too much like that. I now maybe sit a bit more like this and get the horses more on the hind end, so that he definitely like definitely changed a bit in my riding. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's working.
Mario gets very hands-on with you too, which I think is also interesting to watch. And Mario will get on the horse himself and be like, "No, this is how you do it." And I think it's funny to watch Rene have to kind of sit there and be like, "Okay, like take the advice for once."
But that's great.
Yeah.
That's how it should work.
For-
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a two-way street. Cian, you've had a lot of influences through your career. You're obviously, where you are in your career, have got a foot in some big elements of the sport, whether it's training, the teaming up with the likes of Coolmore now, which, you know, they are the biggest name in horse racing.
Sure.
Now coming into jumping too, which is a great partnership. Where did the influential people run through your vein?
Yeah, I suppose when you look back at say 25 years, a lot of people had a lot to do with it, and I think you feel lucky. I feel lucky, and I feel lucky by a lot of the good horses I met. I touched on earlier on about staff. Like some of the people that are with me a long, long time. Like Ross Mulholland's there the longest, nearly 15 years.
Yeah.
And having key people around you makes a big, big deal, you know, because when you have a big operation, like here we've 30 horses at the farm, also managing other stables with other customers, with other students we have here as well. You can't do it on your own. It's not physically possible. So having all those people around me really helps. So I'm indebted to the team. Jerry Mullins, who rode in the Irish Army, was a big influence in my career. He would have trained me from when I was probably 16, 17 to 24, and he helped me a lot. And I just feel, I suppose, lucky with the people that I've met, the horses that I've encountered, and like you say, working with the likes of Coolmore, to have their backing, to have their support is fantastic help at this stage.
You spent a few years here now in the United States. Have you picked up some tips from this side of the water?
Absolutely. I think it's different. Nowadays, when you see the time allowed is so short, I think especially when I come to Florida and I go back to Europe, I'm riding much on a higher rhythm, on a higher rate, and no problem making the time allowed back home. The distances, even because of the rhythm that you ride at, typically in Ireland and England, people would have always gone for the extra stride. So if it's 6 strides a bit flat, everybody would go 7. Where here, you wouldn't dream of it, just keep going forward. So the horses learn to stay in balance and jump at speed, and that's something that we have to kind of bring into our horses at an earlier stage. Okay, sometimes you can overdo it too much. You don't want to be going flat and getting the jump too quick. But that's probably a big difference between riding in Europe and riding here. But I suppose horse riding and equitation is kind of centralized now. You see a rider from Germany. I mean, Richie Vogel rides, to talk about him again, he rides lighter, I heard somebody say recently, than some of the Americans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's very forward and with his horses. So I think the standard of riding has become so good and so high that it's hard to know where people are from when you see their styles. Everybody rides such a high level.
It's sort of merged between the two. Chloe, you're probably a good example of that, having worked with Marcus and Meredith as well.
Yeah, and I came up through the American system of doing the hunters and the ponies and the U25 series here, and doing all of the U.S. teams as I aged through them. And I had that kind of American hunter background of your equitation was really important and what you looked like and the style, and then went over to Germany for many years and kind of had the opposite effect of kind of riding more from your seat and more from feeling, and I think it's a nice combination that I can combine the two.
Rene, it's having an influence on you too? You're getting Canadian, American and German influence.
Yeah, it's getting all mixed up, and I hope I'll make the best of it.
There'll always be red and white or something anyway.
We'll see tomorrow how all that mix goes.
Absolutely, you'll be fine. Which brings us nicely to the end of today. Suffice to say, good luck to you all. Behind us, the polls are up at the moment, but they will be in position tomorrow. Adequate WEF Challenge Cup, $100,000 in the prize fund. Cian, looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's a good class, good competition. I'm looking forward. I think it'll be a good challenge.
Chloe, time to roll the sleeves up now.
My grandmother's coming to town. It's really nice to have Rene here. So Rene's owner Mark is coming to town. So it's kind of fun to have some friendly faces and a little bit of pressure.
Rene, the team's going to be bigger than ever.
Yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, we've forgotten Archie the dog as well, but
yeah,
Archie will be there, who's watching us from just outside the studio as well. Suffice to say, thank you very much to all my guests this week. Good luck to them all into the Fidelity Investments Grand Prix this week here in Wellington. Like I say as well, Friday night as well is centre stage for Hunters 2. with the team competition. Don't forget, there's dressage always underway down there at Global Dressage as well, from the World Cups through the Nations Cups this season too. We have got lots to bring. We're going to talk about more of that during the later programmes into the season as well. But it's 5-star week here in Wellington, brought to you by Dog Technologies in terms of our streaming and US Equestrian and USCF network. Thanks to them as well. And to say a huge thanks to Fidelity Investments too, who are bringing our $385,000 Grand Prix here on Saturday night. Don't miss any of that. As I say, we'll also be bringing you a pre-show for the Grand Prix, which should get underway around 6 o'clock that evening as well. That's also going to be on USCF, and we're also heading to ESPN as well, so look forward to that as well. So that's all going to be lots of ways to watch on Saturday night for the big Grand Prix, but you can also tune in tomorrow and the other days too. You can follow tomorrow and get all the insight by watching the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. We look forward to it. Our French course designer has set the challenge. Will it be the right road to Paris? We will see. We'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for joining us here on WEF Weekly.